Hey, what's going on, family? Just to let you know really quick, everything that you're listening to right now, I actually have it in a more structured way in a webinar. So when you guys get done here, go to forsterconsultants.com, click the tab that says webinars, and there's two webinars there. One is for you to be the actual ILF operator, meaning that you want to do it. And then the other one is the HRA. That stands for Housing Referral Agency, where you're able to take people from homeless to hopeful, and you actually don't need the real estate. It stands for Housing Referral Agency, and we call it a business in a box. But definitely go to forsterconsultants.com, watch both of those webinars, then set up a free strategy call with me and my team, and let's see how we can get you started. Back to the show. Welcome everybody to the live podcast, Don't Wait to Be Great. And I am your host, Mr. Derek Forster. I'm super excited, just like always. Happy Monday, everybody. Today is a great day to be alive. So if you are listening and you are watching on this channel, you're on the right side of things. So congratulations to you and whatever you got going on today. So if you love God, love people, and love real estate, you're in the right place. This is a place where we come every Monday and talk about how to start your own shared housing program and how do you do that without a license and without having to own the property. So again, super excited. And again, thank you guys for being here. I want to also start the room off by, just like I did on Saturday, just congratulating a lot of the newer families that we've been launching here lately. So a lot of people have been purchasing our ILF Mastery Blueprint, which is our one-on-one coaching. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. Got a lot of questions about our coaching packages, so I'll be talking about that, breaking that down. But just again, want to start this room off by congratulating all of the new families that's been joining, that have literally taken that decision to, like, you want to see things change in your life in 2025, and you want to get into real estate and the business of helping people. So congratulations again to the Song family, the Malone family, the Paul family, the Dobbs family, the Williams family, the Parker family, the Banks family, two Browns families, and the Rice family. So congratulations to all you guys. And also, thank you guys also much for trusting us here at Forster Consultants with your dream, right? We don't take that for granted either, right? God has put the dream in your heart, and it's up to God, you, but also us to guide you through this process. So again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, we want to help you do that. And tonight's topic is the ILF Advantage. Why is shared housing the future of housing? And again, why is shared living the future of housing? And we're going to talk about that. And obviously, some of the stuff are just obvious. Some things you may have not thought of yet, right? But again, before I get too deep into that, my name is Derek Forster, and I'm the owner and operator of Second Chance Housing. That's my personal independent living facility. But I'm also the founder of Forster Consultants. And that's a program, a company, an organization where my family and I, we go all over the world sharing this message, right, of independent living and how to start your own housing program, how to use the love of God and real estate all into one, right? So again, if you're here and that's what you're all about and that's what you want to do, especially moving into the new year, definitely you are in the right place. And also, if you're here, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. On my end, it looks like I'm breaking up just a little bit. But a lot of times when it looks like that on my end, you guys can hear me loud and clear. So go ahead and give me a mic check, everybody. Let me know in the chat that you can hear me loud and clear. Also, let me know what city and state you're tuning in from. I'm in the Orlando, Florida area. We launch a lot of people in Central Florida, but there's a lot of these newer cities and states that we're launching and helping people now. So let me see. Amethyst Hamlet. So thank you so much. They said that they can hear me loud and clear. So perfect. And also, if you're new to us, right, I've never seen that name here. So we got a free gift for you. We got a phone number that's scrolling below. If you text the phrase "more info," that'll give you our original webinar, right? And also a chance to get a phone call with us. But also, if you text the word "new" to the phone number 407-326-0086. We're also going to give you a free gift, and it's one of our ebooks that's titled Don't Wait to Be Great. Tia said that I am breaking up a little bit, loud and clear, new here. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tia, yeah, man. Tia, I'm not sure what's going on, but Tia, am I still coming through clear though? Can you hear it, or am I breaking up like really bad? Looks like on my end it's all caught up now, but you guys kind of just keep me abreast of that. And I don't plan on actually being here super long tonight anyway. But if I'm having like major problems, I don't want to stay on if it's breaking up. So Qatar says I'm freezing, but I can hear you loud and clear. Now, that's what I care most about, and that's what I was going to ask Nick. So even if my face is freezing and I'm being all dysmorphed, if my volume is coming through loud and clear, that's what's most important. So give me two of y'all that say that. Yep, and that's Teal and Katara both said that they can hear me loud and clear. And again, that's most important to me. So I'm not really all about if you guys can see my pretty face or not. But again, let me see, new here, forgot to type the number. So also, if you look below on the screen, we're scrolling that below. We'll send a lot of messages across there tonight. But if you're new to us, just text the word new, just one word, three letters, NEW to 407-326-0086. And that's scrolling below on the bottom of that screen. And that's just a free gift that I want to give you. But again, if you also text that same number, but text the word more info, that's going to give you our original webinar. When I usually come here on YouTube, I treat you guys like family. We bounce all around. But if you want our more chronological order of our webinar, but also least an opportunity to be able to speak to me, absolutely text that phrase more info. And you're going to text that to the phone number 407-326-0086. And just for anybody that's new here, and I got a couple, and I'm expecting a couple newer people tonight. You guys are asking me what it looks like. Now, my old people, they see this all the time. But I want to make sure I'm showing you guys, this is what our private room looks like in the independent living facility model. Because again, guys, if you've ever heard of a group home or an ILF or that traditional IDD, all of those require a license. You have to have staff, and then there's also state oversight. With the independent living facility model, guys, what we do, there is no license that's required because the people that we're serving are completely independent. So again, if you're new to us and if you never heard of this concept, an ILF stands for independent living facility, and that is just simply a shared living environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So we believe that this is one of the easiest and best ways to get into real estate, but also do the will of God. That's what's also pretty cool about this. Now, you're going to learn tonight that I'm no pastor, I'm not a priest, and I'm no bishop. I don't have a church or a congregation. But I do believe I have a ministry, though, which is this shared housing program that I also teach to other people. So I didn't say it, but the Bible says the poor and needy will always be among you. So we just decided to, through God's grace, to house the homeless, the needy, and the widow. And again, guys, we don't need a license or state oversight or staff because the people we serve, again, the only thing that's really wrong with them is that they're displaced. They're homeless at the moment, but they all get a guaranteed income. So again, for my new people, this may be strange to you if you've never heard of it. But many years ago, I was a poor social worker, barely making ends meet. And God showed me a lady that was making $41,000 a month doing this model. The only difference is she was doing it in rats and roaches. So social savvy, let me know in the chat where you guys are from, all of my new people. Social savvy, God allowed me to see a lady that was doing this, making $41,000 a month. But the only difference between us here in this room and that lady did it y'all in rats and roaches. It was a complete embarrassment. So I got a long story. Our original webinar, y'all, is 55 minutes long. And then I got another webinar that's entitled the HRA, the Housing Referral Agency, which teaches you how to do what we do, but you don't need the real estate. You only need relationship with people that already have the real estate. And now you tap in with them and make a referral. So we believe in making an impact and an income at the same time, if that makes sense. So again, most people that come around us, we stand for this. And this is something that we live by. But most people that come around us, they usually take this on. We want to please God. We want to help people. We want to be respected by the community while we're doing it. And we want to make enough money to be able to feed our family. And again, if that is something that you want to stand for and live by, put a number 3 in the chat if you think that's okay. To first of all, put God first and please God. Help people. Guys, it's all like, if you listen to this is all scripture. This is all stuff that's in the Bible anyway. And again, don't forget, I'm no pastor, I'm no priest, and I'm no bishop. Right? But we do love God and we love people and we love real estate. God was just genius enough to show me how we can mesh them all together. So again, an independent living facility, it isn't rocket science. We call them ILFs, and it's where adults, not the teenager, not the married couple, not the boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Not the mom and her 3 kids, not the pregnant lady with her 2 kids. This environment that we talk about, guys, is for the single individual male or the single individual female. And again, I'm going to say this one more time, because I usually say this about 10 times a night. If you love God, love people, and you love real estate, and you have some patience, because you also need patience. If you're technically not a people's person, this won't work for you, right? We laugh and we joke and we play a lot in this room. But what I do like to tell people is that we are housing and dealing with some people that are already on the fringes of life. They're already on their last stream, that last straw that broke the camel's back, and they need somewhere to live. So again, if you got a heart for people, you have patience, and you love or trying to get into real estate, show me something else better to get into. Especially if you want to please God, help people. And guys, I want to be respected by my community while I'm doing this. Now, I jokingly tell people, but I'm serious. Just 8 years ago, I jokingly tell people I was a nobody. And I don't mean that in a bad, negative way. What I'm trying to say is nobody really knew of me, and that was okay. But with what I'm involved in today, in terms of housing the homeless, the displaced, working with people in social services, being the answer to the affordable housing crisis in my city, guys, my city respect me while I do this. So that's what I mean by be respected by the city that I'm doing this in. Y'all, I ate some peanuts before I came on. They just crunch it all up on me. I'll never do that again. But anyway, that's what I'm saying, right? Imagine you being the answer to the affordable housing crisis in your city, and it's starting with this shared housing environment. Well, most people we serve, it's going to be 2 beds per room. When I show y'all these private rooms, right? This is for the phone call you get the guy that says, Derek, I ain't sharing no room, bro. I'm a grown man, Derek. Derek, I'm a grown lady. I'm not sharing no room. You ain't got nothing different than that? Absolutely, we do. And they're called private rooms. And in a private suite actually may have a bathroom in it that they also don't have to share. So there's 3 models within this one. But so that I don't get so far off from the topic tonight, the topic is still, why is shared housing the future of housing? First of all, because it's affordable no matter where you live at. Everybody put in the chat right now your city and state. I'll be first. I'm in Orlando, Florida. Because my saying is this, I don't care where you live at, it's expensive. Whether it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, a studio apartment, and a lot of people can't pass a background check. They don't have 3 times the monthly rent. Go ahead and throw in the chat of what you think some of the barriers may be for when it comes to housing in your city. What do you think about, Tia? What do you think about, Katara? Social Savvy, what are you thinking about? Right? So what is a barrier in your city? Because again, when I look at things, and I'll give you guys a big gem right now, the way that I pitch this to a lot of social workers and case managers, I tell them that, hey, ma'am, hey, sir, the worst hotel, or excuse me, motel in your city that got bed bugs and roaches in it, they're actually more expensive than I am. I'm going to be the lowest in my city when it comes to housing, and I'm going to be the nicest. But that hotel that still wants $79.99 a night and full of roaches, the devil is a liar. We're offering something that's better than that, and lights and water and cable and Wi-Fi and all the amenities are on us. So we're known as a one-stop shop in terms of what we do. Does that make sense, everybody? Now, for my new people, I'll slow it down for you guys, but just one more time. If you love God, love people, and love real estate, this is the way that you can mesh all of those together. And we do that by connecting with social workers and case managers, local hospitals, the Goodwill, the Salvation Army. I can name 100 places right now. Every one of you got a place in your city that they're dishing out and discharging people to the street every day. How do I know that? Because I had a job and I was a part of that. I used to be a social worker, I told y'all. So again, on that social work job, I saw a lot of these conditions that I'm telling you guys about. But again, you can be the answer in your city for when it comes to affordable housing. Now, I'm sure that I'm still freezing on the screen, but two of y'all let me know if y'all can still hear me loud and clear in terms of my voice. Because as long as you can hear me loud and clear, I'm good with that. The freezing of the screen don't bother me too much. And big shout out to my family from Worthington, Ohio. You guys must be a part of or related to. Oh, no. That's my guy, AJ. Big shout out to AJ and Miss D, the Madeline. Big shout out to both of you guys. Oh, in fact, you guys are a part of that big shout out that I gave earlier. So good to see you guys here. Love that. So again, and I'm going to be answering some of the questions that even came through during the week, but that's why the title was made. Because when we get more than 3 or 4 questions during the week of the same thing, basically what they're saying is, Derek, why are we needed? Because again, I just kind of explained that no matter where you go and no matter where you live at, it's expensive in your city. So a lot of people can't pass a background check. I house a lot of people that can't pass a background check, y'all. I house a lot of people that don't have the first, last, and security deposit, y'all. Y'all, I house a lot of people that the life is just falling apart because of a divorce, because somebody passed away, meaning their spouse. I house a lot of people to where their income dramatically changed because maybe they lost a job. So again, this environment that we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we also call it ministry, because a lot of people that we're housing, where are they going? They can't afford a lot of what's out there. I house a lot of people today that can't afford their own apartment. I house a lot of people today that dream to buy a house. But you know what they would love to be in, though, and something that's even better? This right here, what you're seeing on screen. That lady that's dreaming to buy a house right now, today, she would just love to have her own private room. Right now, today, a lot of people that I house, they wouldn't mind having a roommate being in a room like this. So again, you have to kind of take the cap off and remember, you guys are blessed. Most of y'all that are listening to me right now, you got somewhere to go tonight. You got a pillow to lay your head on. I house a lot of people that'll be discharged from a hospital tomorrow thinking, man, will somebody accept me into their program? So again, when people ask me, why are we needed? Like, guys, y'all can put some stuff in the chat too. In fact, everybody put at least one thing in the chat to why, what you think would be the barrier to somebody getting appropriate housing. Guys, I have a mental health background in terms of what I do for a living. I was a mental health social worker. So mental health sometimes is a part of the problem. Physical health sometimes is a part of the problem. So everybody put in the chat really quickly, what do you think could be a barrier to somebody getting help and the reason why you need to get started in this shared housing? Guys, we're discussing independent living facilities which do not require a license and you do not have to own the property. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but I want to show you guys a video of exactly, again, of why we're needed. Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
One Atlanta city councilman says the city's homeless population seems to have grown and become more aggressive. And he points to what he calls deplorable behavior at the world's busiest airport. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor takes a closer look at the problem and how the city council might handle it.
If you have been in downtown Atlanta near the connector or out at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport lately, you have likely seen that the homeless problem is growing. One Atlanta City Council person says it's time to address it.
What's going on in the airport is horrible. It is deplorable.
Atlanta City Councilman Michael Julian Bond says the world's busiest airport is dealing with a homeless problem that has gotten out of hand. Bond says business owners and travelers alike are being subjected to unimaginable circumstances.
How do you break into a bank, defecate, urinate, spend the night, and nobody knows that you've done it until people come back the next morning?
Councilman Bond believes one of the first ways to address the problem is to expand the PAD, or Policing Alternative and Diversion Initiative hours.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, just showing you guys again why you're needed. Can you imagine people going to the airport now and hanging out because they're homeless and sleeping there? You know how much of a skill set that takes to go to the airport, pretend to be taking a flight, but really just trying to live there? So in the chat, a lot of you guys brought up some stuff, right? Social Savvy brought up bad credit. Absolutely. Because a lot of times bad credit leads to a lot of other bad things to which people struggle with housing, trying to get an apartment, trying to buy a house. Bad credit sometimes leads to maybe a not so good job, right? So again, it's so expensive depending on where you live. Social Savvy, put in the chat where are you chiming in from, right? Because again, that bad credit could, again, as I said, lead to not so good jobs. And again, some people, y'all, today, maybe let's just say 3 years ago, a shared living environment would have never even been a choice on the table, but through life circumstances. We got a call yesterday from a gentleman that's been sharing a room with somebody for 32 years. The roommate passed away last week. This guy looking for a place to live now because he can't afford it no longer by himself. So again, guys, LIFE stands for life. And sometimes that means living in a freaked up environment. All kind of stuff can happen in life and you just got to be prepared for it. Thank God that you guys are prepared and you're on the side of helping people. But a lot of people today, they don't want to live in this, but they have to. So sometimes we just do this as a stepping stone to get a lot of people on their feet for where they're trying to go. So guess what? I've launched a couple people that named their program Stepping Stones. Because if you're in different states, you can actually do that. If you're in the same state, you can't do that. But can you imagine the thought process went through somebody's head when they named their program Stepping Stones? Because that's exactly what I kind of want to be, even though my name of my program is called Second Chance. But I also want to be a stepping stone for where these people are trying to go, which is most of the time they're trying to better their life. So once again, can you imagine being the answer to affordable housing in your city? And it all starts by watching our webinar, which is scrolling below on that screen. If you just text the phrase more info to 407-326-0086. Again, that's 407-326-0086. That'll give you our introductory webinar, because I'm just talking to y'all tonight like family. But that webinar gives you a more chronological order of what is an ILF? How do you get started? Why in the world do we not need a license? How much of money can you make doing it? And how is this also tied into God's ministry? Like, God appreciates that we do this, because somewhere in that good book, it says that when you do unto the least of thee, God says like you're doing him a favor. And I always say, boy, can you imagine doing God a favor? Can you imagine being on the books for God and God actually owe you a favor? Like, that's pretty cool, because again, in his word, that's what he said. So I often tell people, and here's a question that I'll phrase: can you imagine having a job or a business to where the blessing was already tied into it? Put number 3 in the chat if you like that. Can you imagine having a job or a business to where the blessing of God, the financial blessing, the financial covering for you and your family was already built into what you were doing? That's pretty cool, guys. And that's why I say, man, God is so genius. There was no way I could have ever thought of this on my own. God was like, Derek, you want to really make an impact in your community and make money while you're doing it? First of all, keep me first and do my will and help my people. Involve real estate and I'll blow your life up. Now, that was the dumbed down version. But essentially what that says, again, is, guys, if you got a big heart for people, the way to serve them, and especially for generational wealth, that's why this whole event going down January 31st in Orlando, Florida. I hope y'all don't miss that. You need to visit the, what is it called? popclive.com. And that stands for Pillars of Prosperity Conference Live. I'm going to put it in the chat. But that event is January 31st. And it's going to be surrounded by financial freedom, how to get rid of debt. And we're also speaking in terms of how do you also make a bunch of money so that when you get the money, what do you do with it? So again, Don Daniel, because if you came to our event, guys, in June, Lord have mercy. Don Daniel, out of all of my speakers, and they all were great, including us, Don was our only speaker that got a standing ovation. Tiffany, if I'm lying about it, call me a liar in the chat. Tia, if I'm lying about it, call me a liar in the chat. When Don left that stage, he did everything but drop the mic. You know that saying, drop the mic? He was scared he didn't want to break it, so he actually didn't drop it. But if you've ever heard of Don Daniel that represents the Pill Method International, Don is actually, this is his event, y'all. We're just blessed to be hosting it. And it's going to be in the same place, same dynamic chef, great same menu, because we know we're going to feed y'all. We don't believe in sharing great information and you just starving in your stomach growling because now you're not paying attention. So we're going to give you a 3-course meal, 5-star, a salad, entree, and dessert. And it's all 5-star, but a 5-star chef. So again, can you imagine creating generational wealth, doing God's will? Because if you join me from the beginning, I told you something that we stand by. We stand by this. And if you want to be a part of it, just say me. We want to please God. We want to help people. We want to be respected by the community. And we also want to make enough money to feed our family. So now watch how I reverse that to y'all, because I mean it already. I want y'all to please God. I want y'all to help people. I want y'all community to respect y'all while y'all doing it. But I also want y'all to make enough money to feed your family, because the Bible also says if a man don't work, he don't eat. So what if that work that you're doing is something God also put in his word that tells you that you will automatically be blessed because of it? Not that you won't face some rough times. Lord have mercy. 2024 was a rough year for a lot of us. And 23 wasn't so pretty either. But we made it. And God is good nevertheless, right? But again, can you imagine getting into something that God already promises you that your life gonna be good? That's why this thing is so powerful, y'all. Because not because Derek said it. The Bible says when you do unto the least of thee, why can't we house them? Because it's a bunch of ways that we can help people. I just imagine, and God gave me the idea, Derek, why not do it through real estate? Because if you do it through real estate, Derek, it's going to help them. It's going to please me as God. And Derek, it's going to put money in your pocket to change your life and the community in which you serve. Guys, again, man, if y'all don't agree with that mantra, forgive me. And maybe this ain't the right space for you. But again, I keep saying it and I almost feel apologetic. But again, if you love God, love people, and you've always been trying to get into real estate, guys, this is it. The independent living facility model. And watching that webinar, getting the free strategy call, and nevertheless, let's take action. Because again, just like the title says, why is shared housing the future? Because a lot of people can't afford regular housing. And the way that we do it, we're going to take one asset and we're going to rent to multiple people. That's also what makes this so genius. Again, one more time, I'm going to take one asset, guys, and I'm going to rent to multiple people. I'm going to say it one more time because somebody's going to miss it. I'm going to take one asset. I'm going to take one 4-bed, 2-bath home. Because if I take a 4-bed, 2-bath home, I'm going to be able to take 8 people from homeless to hopeful. Unless I get like Tia and Katara on her new house where they don't do 2 people per room. Tia does all private rooms. Now, Tia, if you want to, you can put in the chat, why do you do that? But a lot of us do a model where, again, we don't do the 2 people per room. We call them all private rooms and everybody's got their own room. So when we come back, because I got to take a quick commercial break, we're going to talk about some steps to getting started. And as you see on the screen, step number 1 is just make a decision. Make a decision that this is something that you're going to do, and you will not allow 2025 to pass you by without getting into this. Let's take a break and we'll get right back. Hey, what's going on, family? Have you ever imagined starting your own housing program? That's probably why you're here. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, like you're kind of getting right now, but in a more of a one-on-one setting, just you and I, that's our ILF Mastery Blueprint. There's a number that they're scrolling below on this screen right now. If you text the word scholarship to that phone number, my team is going to get you some information. So first of all, I'm going to say congratulations and thank you for moving at the speed of instruction. We look forward to working with you. And again, this is only for people that desire our one-on-one coaching, which is designed to watch you succeed from going from a 0 to a hero when it comes to information and knowing how to implement this independent living facility model without any mistakes. That's most important. So again, our ILF Mastery Blueprint, guys, there's a scholarship that's available for it that'll slice the price in half, which is also a no-brainer. So again, if you've ever desired to start your own housing program, but you thought you needed a license, you don't. You thought you had to be a nurse, you don't. You thought you had to own the property, you don't. Consider our ILF Mastery Blueprint, where we are going to take you to success and let God use you in your community, housing the homeless and the displaced. Let's get back to the show. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank y'all so much for being here too. I really appreciate that. You guys could have been anywhere on these internet streets, but you chose to be here. And a special thank you to all of my new people. So again, if you're new, don't forget we have a free gift that we want to give you. We just like those fancy churches that when you go to a new church and they got a free gift that they want to give you, we the same way. So just like I told you that if you text more info to that phone number, also if you text new, just the word NEW new to 407-326-0086, we live by a phrase that's called "Don't Wait to Be Great." And I wrote a book entitled that. I want to give you that for free, but also our introductory webinar. If you text the phrase more info, so MOREINFO to the same phone number, 407-326-0086, my team will immediately send you that link. They'll ask you probably for your name and your email address, and bam, they'll send you that webinar. Most importantly, after the webinar watching it, my team is going to see the analytics that you've watched it. Then they're going to send you a link to book your call to speak to me. That call is for free, right? Everybody gets that first free call. No worries. Ask me all your questions, all your concerns. But more importantly, let's get into the coaching. That's why most people move forward with that call. But if you got some general questions, we love it that if you just come here where we can learn together and ask it here. But if you say, no, Derek, man, I want that scholarship and I want that coaching you got, that's when you want to get on the phone and let's talk about it. So let's jump into it. So first step is just you got to make a decision. This is a place where I worked at y'all's for 9 years. When you watch that original webinar, you're going to hear a lot about me referencing that place. Here is me as that social worker dreaming on the left of getting into this. Pretty clean shaven, shirt and tie. But boy, as God started to give me that vision of what I'm really supposed to be doing, y'all see how my shirt collar got a little loose, growing a little hair on my face. Now, sis, I started to see the vision, y'all. By now, God has showed me the lady that was making 41 grand a month doing this, the lady that was doing it in rats and roaches. Guys, I had seen that vision. And I said, Lord, if you let this girl make 41 grand a month, mistreating people in rats and roaches, I was like, man, can you imagine what my life going to be like if I get in this and do it the right way? So again, really slowly, I'm going to say that one more time. God allowed me to see a lady, y'all, that was living my dream. You ever had a dream, y'all, and you saw somebody else kind of sort of living it? That was kind of me, y'all. And again, me is that social worker making $28,000 a year, seeing the need for housing. And God said, Derek, man, I'm going to let you see it. And it happened like this. I took a Saturday, y'all, and I said, well, nobody want to teach me. Nobody want to show me how to do it. Let me just go see what this is all about. Remember, I was a social worker, y'all, so I had all the addresses. I knew where they were. And guys, this is some of the stuff I saw, and it broke my heart. And remember, don't forget, the lady with the red bottom shoes, the Gucci purse, the Fendi outfits, the Mercedes Benz, and the best weave money can buy in her hair, on her head, this is how she was housing people. 2 of y'all type in the chat, the devil is a liar, because we would not make this kind of money and mistreat people like this. Does that make sense, everybody? Look at that burnt up kitchen. That's not a rehab project, y'all. Somebody was living in there. Look at those beds that are on the floor with no sheets, no pillow, no pillowcase, no comforter. And I always tell people the one that broke my heart is the girl that was sleeping on the kitchen floor paying $750 a month. Yes, I saw a lady sleeping on the kitchen floor as roaches are running in and out of that bottom drawer that most of y'all keep y'all cake pans in. And that bottom, that's where that girl was sleeping at, y'all. A grown adult paying $750 on the kitchen floor. Broke my heart. Look at these beds on the floor. Look at these other set of beds on cinder blocks. Am I the only one that this breaks your heart when you see this and you've been dreaming to do this your whole life? And then God give you a vision of somebody doing it the wrong way? Am I the only one that got a little teed off when like y'all see this, or is it just me? The devil is a liar. We are not going to make 41 grand a month, Katara, and house people in these conditions. We're not going to make 5 grand a month and house people in these conditions. Remember, we're trying to change the trajectory of how these people are living. So again, this is not the way to do it. And the longer we were in it, of course, we ironed it out. But in my webinar, I tell you that it took me 2 years and I lost 60 pounds trying to get it. Because when God gave me the vision, and people wouldn't teach it to me, they wouldn't show me and wouldn't help me. Guys, I was the social worker. Why wouldn't they help me? because they didn't want the referrals to stop coming. So it took me 2 years to go through the bumps and the bruises that I can teach y'all this in 45 minutes now. But that wasn't my route. And now today, this is what we want it to look like. And guys, it don't have to be the Taj Mahal. It don't have to be the de la creme or whatever that saying is, creme of the whatever. But we're not going to do rats and roaches. We're not going to live in filth and squalor. And we're not going to mistreat people through real estate, as I call it. This is the means to save your life and do God's will at the same time. And don't forget, I'm no pastor, I'm no priest, and I'm no bishop. But boy, I sure do have a ministry. I sure do have a calling. And it's for the homeless, the displaced, and for the regular Joe that just can't afford his own apartment. So don't get so caught up on me talking about the guy with mental health. Don't get so caught up on me talking about the guy that just, no. I'm also caring for the guy that said, Derek, man, I can't buy no apartment. Derek, I can't pass a background check. Derek, I don't make 3 times the monthly rent, Derek. Who does today? So I'm also housing the guy that said, man, Derek, you know what, bro? I just need a hand up right now. And Derek, I might need this place for 6 months, 9 months to a year. But Derek, I got to get on my feet, dog. And I don't mind being in a shared living environment. I don't mind a roommate, Derek. Or Derek, if I have to get a private room because I can afford it, this is who I'm helping, y'all. This is not for the guy that makes 60 grand a year, y'all. This is for the guy that's trying to make ends meet. He's in between blessings, fresh out of divorce, fresh out of some situation where he no longer can afford his old apartment. So again, guys, you thought you had to get into real estate by buying a house and putting a family in it. I'm showing y'all today how you can go and rent this place and put well-deserving people in it that also receive a guaranteed income. That's also a huge part of what we do, ladies and gentlemen. That's why when a lot of people hear my reels and my little shorts on YouTube, what do you mean by guaranteed income? Well, because 95% of people I house, I'm not depending on them to go to work in the morning at McDonald's, Burger King, Sonny's Barbecue, the local school teacher, the mailman, the police officer. I don't want my guy to go get 40 hours a week per se. I do got about 5% of my guys that have a job though, but 95% of people that I'm housing, and so are you all, guys, they get SSI or SSDI, and that's a monthly stipend they get every month and nothing stops it. Make sense, everybody? So for my new people, if you didn't know that, these same homeless people that we're talking about, yeah, they get a check, as they call it, but it's actually on a debit card and they get it every month. And maybe you didn't know that. And this is a big part of the population that we're serving. And as long as we've been in it, it's slowly changing to what I would just call the everyday Joe. Because when I first got into it, y'all, it was the mental health guy, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, major depressive disorder, schizoaffective disorder, anxiety, all of these diagnoses, right? But now today, I'm housing the everyday guy that's got a 9-to-5 job at Sonny's Barbecue, but can't afford an apartment and surely can't buy a house. Will he want this private suite that I offer that's got his own room and bathroom? Or will he want that shared living environment because maybe his income isn't big enough to afford this private room? So that's why it's genius that for us, within this one model, guys, there's 3 different ways to live. We got a private room. That means you got your own room, no bathroom. You still share the bathroom, but there is no roommate. The other one is the 2 people per room like this, that roommate model. And then the other one is that private suite that also has the bathroom. So within my one, we get calls for all kinds of stuff. Hey, yeah, I need a place to live and I want that private room. No problem. What's your income? May find out the income can't even support it. So now you're educating people on what they can afford. So not only do we house people, Miss Tia, Katara, the Johnson family, the Pegman family, sorry about that, and the Leonard family, not only are we housing people, guys, but we're also educating people on maybe what they can afford. Remember, I just told you 4 minutes ago, we serve mental health people. So maybe he wants that private room, but he can't afford it, but don't understand it right now in this moment. But when you say, hey, Brad, I know you wanted that private room, but you only get $9.75 a month. And you told me that you got a cell phone bill. You spend $15 a month on them Facebook games to keep yourself busy. You got a Netflix account and you got insurance for $60 a month. The shared living environment is going to probably fit you more. That way you have more money left over at the end of the month and not be house poor. Meaning once you pay your rent to me, you're broke. You don't want that, right? Right. See how I just educated on him on what he can't afford versus just saying, no, man, you can't do that. No, hey, Brian, you're reminding him of things. That's why that assessment is so important, because during that assessment, when you're first moving people in, you can remind them of what they told you. Brian, you told me that you had a Netflix account. You had a cell phone that was $40 a month. You play $15 worth of those Facebook games on your phone. Right? So, Brian, like, you should probably do this. So, guys, that's what I mean by, and some of my coaching clients, y'all know about when I say this. That's why I teach you guys to be consultants. Yeah, you're a housing provider, but guess what you really are? You're a consultant about real estate, about shared housing, because your phone rings every day and people are trying to make a decision on how they should live. Private room, shared room, or that private suite. So again, you guys are really consultants because you're consulting on the way that they should live. Make sense, everybody? Let's take a break and we'll be right back. If you've ever imagined of starting your own housing program, there is no reason that after we're done here tonight that you shouldn't go to forstonconsultants.com/webinars and watch the webinar, guys, because a lot of you have wanted to start a group home or traditional assisted living facility, but that stuff takes license. It takes a lot of time to open. There's a lot of red tape to jump through. You have to ask for permission. We teach you guys how to open an ILF, an independent living facility, where you can house the homeless, displaced adults, or anybody that has a guaranteed income, and it doesn't require a license, and you don't have to own the property. Make sure you watch that free webinar at forstonconsultants.com/webinars, and then set up a free strategy call so that me and my team can get you started. Let's get back to the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back. So, don't forget, guys, if you got any questions or concerns, I should be here for another 15 or 20 minutes or so. If you have any, if you have any questions or concerns about what you've heard so far, let me know. I still got a ton of questions to still answer. But in some of my talks, Leonard family, you guys could hear that I was still answering some of your stuff that you guys sent in. But I want to go to something else that you guys asked me, and I got a slide actually already up for it. A lot of you guys have been asking about the coaching. A lot of you guys have been seeing our social media and seeing us launch a lot of people here lately. So there's 3 ways to get into what we do. The first way is the way that probably 95% of the way people come in. They want our ILF Mastery Blueprint, and that's our one-on-one coaching, right? That comes with all of our paperwork, the website build out, the CRM system, us again, one-on-one. You get my personal phone number, also access to our virtual assistant services, right? So everybody needs a VA, in my opinion, right? And then the ILF Accelerator actually mimics the ILF Mastery Blueprint. The only difference is, guys, is that it's a 6-month program. So the Accelerator, in my opinion, is for people that may come to us that already have the property, because quite frankly, the way we coach and teach you guys, most people, what takes them the most amount of time is actually getting the property. So the Accelerator is a 6-month program. So in my opinion, if you don't have a property already, the Accelerator is probably not for you. The Accelerator is for people that think they have a pretty good grasp on what this is, and they have a property and they want to accelerate the process. But if you don't have a property already, I actually wouldn't recommend that one. But in terms of the coaching, it's the exact same. So if you say, well, Derek, now, because of the price of it, I will go with the Accelerator, Derek. I don't care what you say. Well, you could do that because, again, that's a 6-month program for the Accelerator, whereas the Blueprint, you stuck with me for life. We're family at that point. And then the ILF Mastery Do-It-Yourself version, that's, of course, do it at your own pace, right, and take your time with it. So the ILF Mastery Blueprint, guys, the original cost is $7,500. Every one of our packages normally has some kind of scholarship that can go towards it. So like right now, if you've heard enough tonight and you say, man, you know what? I want this and I want the coaching. I'm scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. If you text the word scholarship to the phone number 407-326-0086, After watching our webinar, that's also going to lead to a call with me and my team to talk about how can we get you started and how much of a discount maybe you're privy to. So again, we have people that pour into us in terms of scholarship money. Sometimes we do it, right? It just kind of goes back and forth. But like even right now, if you guys signed up and you wanted this, I wouldn't just sign up. I would text the word scholarship so that you can see at least how much of a discount could you get off of that $7,500. Okay. The ILF Accelerator, guys, is $3,000. And again, remember, it mimics exactly what the blueprint is, but it's a 6-month program. Okay. Only difference in that pretty much, and I'm going to bring up a scale and show y'all some of the things that are involved in it. And then, of course, the do-it-yourself version, I'll admit, this has been popular lately. A lot of people have been getting this because it still comes with the website build-out, all the paperwork, all the documents, and a bunch of coaching from me that's been recorded. So, prime example, we did something that's called the MSI group coaching. And MSI for us stands for Move at the Speed of Instruction. That was a 5-week program that I did. And every night we went over 3 hours, right? So if you do that, what's that, 3 times 5 nights? So you got over 15 hours of content. It's the same coaching that I give the ILF Mastery Blueprint members in the original ILF Mastery Blueprint. So if you think about it, the DIY version, guys, has the same stuff, same coaching. You just don't get me as your big brother or as the personal coach. But what a lot of people's doing, though, they're actually buying this package and then they're buying additional coaching hours, which I think is actually very smart. In fact, so many people are doing that. I actually may build a product on that, right? Or I may just be generous and add the coaching to it. But a lot of people, what they're doing, guys, they're getting the DIY and then they're buying an hour or 2 or 3 of additional coaching that's on the side. So it's like they're getting the low cost product, but still getting the one-on-one coaching. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you guys got any questions, let me know. So here's everything that's involved with the ILF Mastery Blueprint. Of course, the one-on-one coaching, our business coaching, which is super exceptional on its own. The logo build out, my team's going to build it. Your website, my team's going to build it. A virtual assistant, you got access to that. All the HRA contents and paperwork. So remember, HRA stands for Housing Referral Agent. That allows you guys to do exactly what we do, and you don't even need the real estate. It teaches you how to make a bunch of referrals to people and be paid that way. So you can literally, guys, get into this and not need the real estate and still make an impact and an income at the same time. In fact, you guys can make money as fast as tomorrow because I got some empty beds right now, and I'll take referrals from any of you all. And we pay $300 per referral, okay? So a lot of people get started simply with the HRA. So if y'all remember many months ago, probably over a year ago now, we had the HRA as a standalone product. What's so cool, that one product used to be 2 Gs by itself. That's inside of all of the products that you get, meaning all of these coaches that I'm going to talk about, the HRA Business in Box is a part of all of that. And probably most importantly, the paperwork, the contents, that MSI group coaching I talked about, and all of the exclusive communities. And again, you get me one-on-one. So right here is that accelerator in terms of what I talked about. That's a 6-month program, hard stop. So from the day you start, 6 months later, boom, that program's over. And again, if you have a property already, you're probably really only going to need me for the first 90 days in terms of how that coaching works. I just give you the extra 3 months to make sure that you're good. But the ILF Accelerator, guys, again, one more time, in my opinion, there's also a scholarship that's available for it. But in my opinion, I wouldn't purchase that one unless you have a property already, or you get ready to walk into it, or you just got the property. Probably do not get this one because, in my opinion, most of you all will need more than the 6 months. Probably, you know what I mean, just to get your feet really in it. And some people takes them to 6 months just to find the house. But because they have all the coaching and we've been going for 6 months, they get the house and fit it in 3 weeks. Some people may take 3 months. Just depends on where you're at. So again, this program is absolutely great. It's more cost effective than the blueprint. And again, it's for 6 months, hard stop. Okay. And then of course the DIY has everything that we just kind of talked about, but you get those, the MSI group coaching, all the eBooks, all the coaching, all the curriculum, right? But also you get those documents everybody keep coming with. Derek, man, you guys just sell y'all documents. because people keep hearing us talk about that. Our documents alone, guys, were over $8,000. So our lawyer built all of our documents, everything that we give you in terms of your lease, release of liability, your handbook, all of that was built by a lawyer, guys, and looked over by a lawyer. That alone was $8,000. If you notice, there is no package I showed you that's more than $7,500. So that's showing you that the paperwork alone, guys, is worth more than any package that I'm literally talking about. Okay, so the DIY is a do-it-yourself. And again, right here is what's kind of involved. So as you can see, my team broke this down for you. The consultation is not involved in the DIY, but the accelerator and the IMB, you get me as your personal coach. The business consulting, meaning that we're only going to talk about ILF. You can't come to me and talk about your food truck, your lawn service, your chocolate chip cookie stand, because my business coaching involves all of that. So there's a lot of people that come to us for this one thing, but we coach them on multiple things because they come to us with a business. So my wife and I share my family, we coach business just period. God has just blessed us with the ILF business, and that's what we really thrive in. So as you can see, the logo is not in the DIY. What I've been doing is for the accelerator, if anybody wants that in the month of December, all the way through the 31st, I'm actually going to throw the logo in it, but naturally the logo is not involved in the accelerator. But the IMB, as you guys can see with the IMB, they got green checks on everything, right? What I love about this is this, right? The website, the CRM system, your phone system, your text messaging capabilities, your email campaigns, your social media, every one of the packages gets that. So because we own the digital marketing company, your website, your CRM, your phone, your texting, your social media, your email campaigns, all of that, every package, guys, we're going to build your website, your CRM, and give you that phone system, right? So how cool is that? And again, as you can see, even with the VA, the way that we're doing the new VA service now, anybody can actually get the VA. So this is actually non-existent anymore. We have a done for you service, virtual assistant service, and we talk to people about that on an individual basis. But watch this. The HRA business in the box, the DIY gets it. The accelerator for the month of December, I'm actually going to allow that. But remember, if you get the accelerator, that's a 6-month program. You already have a property. You're not worried about the HRA so much. You want to fill your own place. So that's why that's not involved in that. Other than that, for the month of December, I will do that. And again, the IMB, as you see, has everything. And then on the very last one, tons of green marks. So everybody gets the paperwork and all coaching packages, DIY, accelerator, IMB. The ILF contents, that means every course, every curriculum, and every ebook we ever created that's got anything to do with this model, this business model, you guys get it. How to acquire the property, those ebooks and role plays, every coaching product gets it. The only thing that's different is at the bottom, the accelerator and the IMB both get those exclusive communities. So we have private VIP Telegram groups that we do a lot of coaching and teaching and networking in. A lot of people get their houses filled from those groups, right? But as you can see on this last page, everything is involved with every package other than those communities with the DIY, okay? So a few of you guys asked about that. And as I said again, if you text the word scholarship to 407-326-0086, any of those packages that you guys actually want, you can have the opportunity to talk to me about which one you want and then how much of a discount is actually allowed on each one. So if you want our coaching, whether that's one-on-one, the accelerator, or the DIY, let us know. Okay? That was probably for 3 or 4 different families at once. If you guys got any questions about any of that, let me know in the chat. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hey, what's going on, family? I hope you guys are enjoying this information, but just in case if you was wondering, how could you get more one-on-one coaching just like this? First of all, you can ask just by typing it in the chat, or you can visit forstonconsultants.com/IMB. Again, the IMB stands for ILF Mastery Blueprint. So again, if you want one-on-one coaching, let us know. This is exactly what we do. And again, don't spend all your time in this room today without asking questions. As you see, we're giving out a lot of great information. So make sure you ask your questions just to make sure that you fully understand it. And then also don't forget, we give you guys a free strategy call. So we want you to watch our webinar That's it. Also at forsterconsultants.com/webinars, but also soak up a lot of this information that we're giving you guys on YouTube, and then schedule a free strategy call so that we can get on the phone to talk about how fast can we get you started. Let's get back to the show. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank y'all so much for being here. I'm gonna remove this. Again, any questions, let me know. I want to answer some other questions that came in. Just a quick one that they said again, what does it look like? I'll show a few more of those, but I want to get to those other questions. But I'm gonna put these up while you guys wait on that. Let me find that other slide, and then I'm gonna go over and check the chat to make sure that I didn't forget anything. So that's just more pictures of what an inside can possibly look like. And again, we don't own these properties. So Wilson family, you guys just joined and asked Derek, do you buy these properties? Well, we do now, but in the beginning, and even still now, like right now, I just had a conversation with my VA, Jess, and said, hey, Jess, although there's a lot of people that are around us that still need a lot of beds filled, we're going to help them. I said, but Jess, come January 1st, we need to talk about us at Second Chance Housing getting another rental property, because I'm almost to capacity, right? And with my coaching and my teaching, I teach you guys, don't wait till you get all the way full to start looking for your next house. So if you got a 4-bed, 2-bath home and you can house 8 people in there, by the time you get 5 to 6 people, you should already be looking for your next facility. The last thing you want to do is get slammed full and then you can't take any more calls. But if you're real smart, you implement our HRA, the housing referral agent, and you refer those people out if you're full. But again, don't get so full to the point to where you got to give out everybody. Start looking for your next property when you're about 75% full. Okay. I've actually never said that live, so that's some good coaching. Usually my one-on-one coaching family only gets that, but that's just a real gem for you all, right? Don't wait, right, until you get full to start looking for another place, because it may take you a while. So when you get about, and I wouldn't even say 50%, I would say about 75% full. So again, if you can house 8 people and you got 5 to 6 people, let's go. Right? By the time you get that 6th person, you should absolutely be in conversation with people about your next rental property or the next one that you buy, if that's what you do. Okay. So these are just some pictures from actually one of my largest ILFs, right? I got some big ones, y'all, and I got some little ones. So again, Wilson family, you guys asked that. Derek, how big does it have to be? Well, if it's in a place like this, like my place, I got some that are 8 bedrooms, 6, 7 bedroom places. But I've also taught and launched people that have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. So the point is to just start somewhere. Don't think you got to go out and get this big old mansion to be able to do this, right? Now, me per se, I house more men. My wife, once we pulled her from corporate America, she was like, well, Derek, what am I going to do? I said, well, you're going to take over this pink house and you're going to house these women now. So if you guys look at this picture, notice this one guy, me, surrounded by what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's probably 8 women in that picture, which one being my mom and one being my wife. I'll let y'all pick them out and which one you think is which if you knew. But this is me in the beginning when I housed the women and the men. Today, guys, I'm not involved in these pictures like what you see on this screen here, right? So again, my wife now launched what we would call a nonprofit organization for my new people. And she decided to start the Angela Denise Foundation. So I'm an LLC. That's answering another question of yours, right? The Lamont family. I am an LLC. I am for profit. My wife is a nonprofit, right? Inc. So it's the Angela Denise Foundation. We call it ADF. So when you're thinking of how you're going to name it or what you're going to be, that's a decision you and your family got to make. But I'll just give you some free game right now. If you want a nonprofit, why not? But why not get the LLC first, maybe? Because the LLC is quick, it's fast, it's now, and it's very affordable. The nonprofit is expensive. It takes a while to build it. You got to have a board. You got to have meetings. You got to take minutes. You got to get permission of how to spend the money. You got to have a So when we tell people, no problem, get one, but maybe consider getting an LLC first and then build upon it. Because what Shay and I found out many years later, because I'm honest enough to tell you guys that I'm no genius and we just thought of it that way, When I had an LLC and we decided to take Shay from corporate America to let her jump into this game of what I do, she said, well, Derek, why don't I get a nonprofit? You already got an LLC. Now, that day we just said that. We had no clue that one day that would be genius. So today when people look at me and Shay, they're like, wow, I can't believe she's got the nonprofit, he's got the for-profit, and they merge together and work together. That is genius how they did that. Y'all, I'm honest enough to tell you that we didn't know what we was doing in the beginning. Shay came home crying. Long story short, I said, babe, what you want to do? And at my kitchen table, we built the Angela Denise Foundation on paper. Let that be a testimony for somebody that's listening. The idea can sometimes start at your kitchen table. I jokingly told Shay that if we ever give that table away, which we usually do, because when we start a new ILF, all the furniture comes from my house first. All the cups, plates, spoons, furniture, coffee mugs, whatever. I said, but if we give that table away, we got a sketch under the bottom. This is where it all started. Or like that song by Biggie Smalls years ago. It was all a dream. Used to we, you know what I mean? So I'm going to say that one more time slowly. That idea of the Angela Denise Foundation started from the kitchen table, y'all, on a piece of notebook paper, just like this. I keep a lot of these little tablets around, y'all. You can get these from Walmart for about $1. I'm old school. A lot of y'all like that iPhone and all that stuff. I do that too, but I like that chicken scratch, y'all. So I keep me a lot of these composition notebooks around. They got 100 pages in them. And I got everything from goals to plans to dreams to ideas to podcast idea, whatever you can think of. Like if I open this book randomly right now, and at any given time, I got 5 of these in my house. 2 things that my wife get on to me about. I open up 30 bottled waters a day, y'all. That's a bad habit. I love cold water. So if I get a bottle of water, y'all, and I don't finish it, I go get another one. And most of the time, I don't have a good enough habit to actually put the other one back in the fridge. So my wife and my mom, when she's here, they're usually putting 7 to 8 bottles of water back in the refrigerator. But back to the point, because I don't want y'all to pick on me. Bottled water in these, at any given time, I have 3 or 5 of these scattered out amongst my house. Because if I open one right now, I can just read to y'all stuff that I've written down over time. One of them right now is maybe how I'm going to end this room, where, as I tell you guys, I'm no priest, I'm no pastor, and I'm no bishop. But on this thing, I got a little mini sermon, and it's all about reaping what you sow. And I'm going to break that down either here soon or at the end. I got a whole little mini sermon on reaping and sowing, and we're going to talk about that, right? But right here on this screen, before I get too carried away, if you haven't already, scan that. Make sure you watch that webinar. We live by this thing that's called don't procrastinate. Because procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God will give you more time for something he's already told you to do, right? And we all got that little lazy bone about us that we don't want to do things all the time, right? Sometimes for me, y'all, it's tough to even jump on this computer and go live 3 days a week. I'm tired. I do stuff. Like today, I said with my own mouth, man, I feel lazy today. I need to go to one of my houses and finish painting, but I ain't doing that today. And guess what I did 30 minutes later? I got up and went to the house and painted all day long today in one of my ILFs. It brought about a freshness and a nicer look to the place. And by the time I'm there, me and my tenants have a ball just laughing and joking and playing around. So I'm also mixing in camaraderie with that. Does that make sense, everybody? Can you hear how I'm not only housing people? The last 5 minutes I've been talking about is not me housing people. I'm talking about camaraderie, talking and engaging with my clients, painting and doing maintenance at the ILF. See, some of y'all think that we just gonna put people in the house and pick up money. Huh? Neonta, some of these people think when they hear me, they gonna just call a social worker. Social worker gonna dump all the clients out. They gonna house the people and pick up money. Sometimes we gotta go clean up, Neonta. Sometimes we gotta go minister. Now, most of us may call it go and talk, conversate, mix and mingle with these folks, but we call it ministry. And sometimes it's just laughing and joking. Not that I'm taking my Bible over there, hitting them over the head with a Bible, but I'm just talking and showing the love of God through conversation. But I will say, I'm also proud to say that I led one of my clients through the salvation prayer about a week ago. I'm super proud of that. Give me a shout out for that in the chat if you ain't no hater, right? Because again, I'm always talking about ministry, right? How dare I have somebody in my house like Mr. Larry, who I'm always joking about, and I don't lead him to Jesus. So now I'll admit he didn't want to do it in the beginning. I said, Larry, come on, man. Let's ensure that whatever happened to you in life, bro, you going to heaven. He said, well, how we going to do that? I said, man, if you repeat after me and you mean it, you going to heaven. I said, Larry, do you love God? He said, yeah, man. I said, do you believe in him? He said, yeah. He said, but Derek, I ain't going to no heaven. I said, Larry, yes, you will. I said, you believe in him? He said, didn't I tell you, yeah? I said, do you believe he died and all that stuff that you heard about, he died and rose again? He said, yeah, I believe that too. I said, well, Larry, you going to heaven, bro. Just repeat this thing after me. Guys, I said a prayer that didn't even take 25 seconds. Larry said it, I said it, and guess what? Larry going to heaven, y'all. No matter what he do, y'all, he going to heaven. And I think the way it said, Tiffany, and Till and Katara tell me if I'm wrong, especially Neonta. Neonta tell me if I'm wrong. Neonta, now, if I'm not wrong about it, Neonta, I got some special crown in heaven because I did that, right? Or is it a jewel? Is it a diamond alone? But I heard that when we lead people to Christ, like we get some special gift when we get up there. See that? Now, for somebody who said, man, didn't he say he wasn't no preacher? Guys, I'm not. I'm no pastor. I'm no bishop. We just happen to love God and love people. And when you involve it with the real estate, guys, this is what creates the generational wealth. God also don't want you to be poor. Does that make sense, everybody? Right? So I hope that we said something tonight that can change your life. And I still got to finish, right? I still got to find that one slide. I got to show y'all this one thing, right? Don't forget to take scholarship, y'all, if you guys want the coaching on any of those plans, and definitely don't procrastinate. Read what that says on that screen while I find my other slide here, y'all. Give me 2 seconds. Here it is right here. So the Brown family, and this is a different Brown, a lot of the, I got 3 Brown families now. That's 3 of y'all now. So the Brown family said, well, Derek, I heard you talk a lot, and I heard you talk about, you know, the connections and things. Can you give me a few examples? Absolutely, I can. That's what I do. So when you talk about who you should be networking with to make this thing work, because if you go out and get a house tomorrow, how do you feel it with great people? So I want you guys to join something that's called your local COC. Now, if you're new to this kind of genre of things, COC stands for Continuum of Care. Continuum of Care. In my country tongue, I struggle a little bit to say that. And if I'm saying it wrong, Katara gonna help me. But Continuum of Care, that's just a big old fancy way to say that a lot of people in your city that's responsible for the mental health dollars, when it comes for housing, they're involved in that. When the state get grants for mental health and housing, the local COC is involved in that. So a lot of times when you guys hear me talk about the hospital gave me a client and they paid for it, that's Continuum of Care, guys. The client didn't have no money. The social worker sure didn't pay for it out of her pocket, but there's a grant, as they call it, that goes to the hospital and that goes down to the COC. The COC gonna call y'all for the housing. Katara, you've gotten calls from people that you probably don't even know it, but they're part of the COC. Anybody got anything to do with your community dollars in terms of mental health and housing, affordable housing, a lot of times that's your local COC. Find out who they are and connect with them. Lucky for you, the next thing that I'm going to talk about, they're connected to the local shelter too. A lot of times your local shelter is tied into that COC. So the local shelter, Miss Susan, Mr. Robert, Mr. Jones, Miss Helen, and Miss Hattie Mae, y'all need to know all of them because that's your connection to also getting great clients from the shelter. Sometimes people go to the shelter, y'all, not just because they're homeless, because they don't know that there's an option that you've opened your own independent living facility and you got a place for them to go. They just didn't know that you had a place. Does that make sense, everybody? So again, sometimes people are not homeless just because they don't have any money. They don't have a place to live because they didn't know that 3 weeks ago, after you heard us on YouTube, you went and opened up your ILF. You now offer these private rooms and private suites. Somebody say amen to that in faith. Put some amens in the chat to that. If you desire your own home, Put an amen in the chat, because again, my prayer for y'all is that you become the answer in your city for affordable housing. Period. Back on my slide over here. Now, this one says sign up for Facebook. That ain't quite it. Facebook groups. So I'm not sure what happened here, my VA assistant, but we left off the word group group. So don't sign up for just for Facebook, but Facebook groups that caters to homelessness, case management, social services, social workers. Really slowly, because I know I talk fast. I'm a part of groups right now that are labeled like this: social workers of Central Florida, case managers of Orlando, Florida, social services of Central Florida. See those words? I'm giving y'all the game in terms of how you to search for this stuff. Y'all will never be able to say, boy, that guy Derek, man, he was stingy. He keep all the information to himself. The devil is a liar. I got over 640 videos on this topic on my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed there and get lost in our videos, guys. Hit that tab that says live. There's over 640 videos right inside of there. There is no question in your mind that you can think of that there's not a video to. The one-on-one coaching is when you want to skip all them videos and get me one-on-one. My phone number, meetings, Zooms, visits. Big shout out to all of my new people who want me to come out and fly out to them, drive out to them. Love that. Just send the invite. Okay? So these are some of the people, and there's thousands of more places, but this is just the general. Because if I had to narrow it down, this is it. Every one of y'all should know the people at your local shelter. All y'all got a homeless shelter. Every one of you guys have a local COC, and Facebook groups are everywhere. And if you get a virtual assistant, y'all, a virtual assistant can sign up for these Facebook groups, 10 to 15 groups a day. And sometimes you have to wait to get admitted or get accepted. But can you imagine joining 10 Facebook groups a day that are labeled homelessness or housing or affordable housing? And you're posting this kind of stuff in that group, telling people, hey, are you a social worker or a case manager looking for clean, affordable housing? Give us a call. This is exactly what we do. Wow. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it for me. Those were the questions that came through. I'm obviously going to also check the chat. So if you haven't put your questions in the chat just yet, or if you just joined us and you have no clue what we're talking about starting your own independent living facility. We call them ILFs, independent living facility, ILFs. That's a shared environment for adults. And these are adults that are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So this environment that we offer, that's often 2 people per room, guys, there's no license to do this. There's no state oversight. And I do not need permission from my government, my county, or my state to do this. The only requirement, guys, is a big heart for people and the love for God. And if you got some patience, you should be A-okay to get into this. Because in my opinion, in 2025, guys, you got to get into something a little bit different. Why not real estate? Why not helping people while involved, in real estate? Can you imagine getting into real estate while also helping people? That's the double-edged sword that I always talk about, right? That's a win-win situation because God is pleased. The individual is pleased because he's not homeless no more. And then you're pleased because you're making enough money to feed your family. Remember what we stand for. I want you guys to please God, help people, be respected by your community, but also make enough money to feed your family. Right? Make sense, everybody? 2 people type in the chat. That makes sense. Okay, so we're going to take a commercial break. I'm going to check the chat. So if you haven't put a question in the chat yet, now is a great time to do that. Because if not, when I come back, I'm probably going to be closing up. I think I'm done. I think I answered all the questions, but I'm going to check my little handy notepad here. Oh, yeah. And I got to finish tonight with my little reaping and sowing thing. Okay, so come back. Don't go nowhere. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get a word from David and Dennis. Don't forget, y'all, David is an absolute knucklehead. Just be patient with him. Dennis is a really super sharp fellow and knows a lot about the ILF. But let's get a word from those 2, and we'll be right back. So, Dennis, in this independent living facility model, right, which y'all call ILFs, what kind of residents can I house in this kind of model? David, that's a great question. And that's actually what makes the ILF model so great, is because it's flexible. So, prime example, you can house military veterans, elderly adults, women that are escaping domestic violence, and the list goes on and on and on. So Dennis, where do you get your residents from? I see you guys on TikTok and Facebook, you guys getting all of these houses. Like, where in the world are you getting these people from? Yeah, that's actually pretty easy. Forster Consultants teaches us to use social media such as Instagram, Facebook to let people know who we are, what we do, but probably most importantly, who do we serve? And we do that very consistently. So every day, 7 days a week, there's something being posted about what we do and who we serve, but also building relationships with social workers and case managers. Again, letting them know who we are, what we do, and most importantly with them, that we're available. Dennis, how in the world are you able to do this without a license, bro? David, remember the reason why we don't need a license, because remember, the clients that we serve, they're independent. So that means that they can take their own medications, they can provide their own transportation, and they can cook and provide their own food. Dennis, man, you seem to know a lot about this independent living stuff, man. How do you know so much? Well, first of all, I graduated from Forster Consultants University, and I have a master's degree in independent living facilities. And I join the Forster crew every Monday on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern. They go live, and that guy Derek, man, he give the game away. So I'm always there. So Dennis, what in the world are the requirements to get started with something like this? The only requirement for this, David, is a big heart for God, his people, and the love for real estate. That's it. And bro, don't think I ain't listening, because I am listening. But where can I find more information like this at, man? Because I really want to get started, man. David, if I were you, I'd follow Derek Forston on Facebook and TikTok, and then I'd follow Forston Consultants on everything else in terms of Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Again, really slowly, David, because you're hard-headed. I'd follow Derek Forston at Facebook on his personal page. I'd follow him on TikTok, but I will also follow Forston Consultants on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't forget, David. Hey, Dennis, man, I really appreciate that, man. I'm going to do exactly what you told me to do. I'm going to follow Forster Consultants on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. No problem, David. That's actually what I'm here for. And by the way, where did you get that hoodie? I like that. Oh, this? I got this from Second Chance Apparel. I'll put the link below. This is for aspiring entrepreneurs. And the reason why I love to support it is that every shirt or hoodie that you purchase goes back into housing the homeless. All right, all right. So welcome back, everybody. Thank y'all so much. And as we're getting ready to close, I'm going to check the chat for any questions. And I'm also going to close with this little thing that I want to give you all. Somebody's going to need it. I know that when I put it together, I actually needed it. So I want to share it. So what's going on, Miss Darlene? Good to see you. I just saw Miss Darlene put something in the chat. Amethius Hamlet, and if I'm messing that up, please forgive me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're new to us, so we appreciate that, and we love new people. She says, thank you. Great workshop. May the Lord continue to bless you and your family. Thank you so much. And Miss Patricia, good to see you. Miss Patricia's family now. So good to see you, Miss Patricia. Said, I'm still new, but yep, you are family now. And me and Miss Patricia had a great meeting just the other day. So I'm super excited for her. She's down there in Houston, about 30 minutes from the 5th Ward. Getting ready to change lives down there. And Miss Patricia, just to let you know, let me tell you in this live room, there's another lady that I taught literally the same day. She bought the package probably a week after you, but her coaching was the same day yours was. She's also 30 minutes from the 5th Ward. So I got to get you two together. I love it when I'm coaching people in the same area and you guys live like close. So when I asked her where she lived at, Miss Patricia, she said, I think she said 30 minutes from the 5th Ward, and so did you. So you guys are probably so close to each other, you don't even realize it. And I want to merge all together. I'm teaching her the HRA, the Housing Referral Agency model, just like I'm teaching you. But because you have a house, Patricia, I want her to help you fill your house full of great people. Okay? So don't forget, man, I coach a lot of y'all. We're in 37 states now. So if you're in the same state with somebody else, man, you need to be merging with other people. I'd also put in the chat right now in terms of wherever you're located, like Katara, you're always getting people in South Carolina. I told you between South Carolina, North Carolina, and different parts of Georgia, I'm getting you guys from everywhere, right? I don't know what kind of promotion y'all seen or how you guys are finding me, but South Carolina, big shout out, North Carolina, and also certain parts of Georgia. You guys are coming in droves, and I appreciate that. Okay. So let me see. I didn't see. Let me check one more time because I don't want to miss nothing. I try to make a promise never to miss a Qatar said, that's right, bro. Continuum of care. Yep, sure did. And Qatar, I was concerned I was saying it wrong too. Because my country tone sometimes don't let me get words out the right way. Let me see. Miss Patricia's always super active in the chat. I appreciate that. She says, I love reaping and sowing. I'm actually getting ready to talk about that in just a second. All right. So again, my last announcement is just that if you're new to us, I want to give you our free ebook. Just text the word new, and it's to a phone number that's scrolling below right now at the bottom of your screen. So if you text the word new, N-E-W, to 407-326-0086, that'll get you our free ebook. It's entitled Don't Wait to Be Great, super inspirational, and allows you to just keep pushing forward. And again, why would you wait to be great if there's an opportunity? So that book kind of goes into that. But also, if you've heard enough tonight where you say, man, I like this family. Like, I want their coaching. I want Derek one-on-one in my back pocket. Text that word scholarship, right? I showed you our 3 coaching plans tonight: the ILF Mastery Blueprint, the ILF Mastery Accelerator, and the ILF Mastery Do-It-Yourself version. They start at $7,500, $3,000, and $997. All 3 of those have the opportunity to get a scholarship that goes towards it. So if you text the word scholarship to that phone number, you are good to go. Okay. So other than that, I'm done. I want to end it with this, right? So in the Bible, there's this thing called reaping and sowing, right? So obviously, I don't want to take for granted that everybody just knows what that means. So obviously, sowing is when you're planting seed, right? So think of it that way. And reaping is the harvest, which is the result of the seed that you've sown. So if you want to think about it in terms of the seed planted, that means your actions. So when we're planting seed, that means our actions. It determines the harvest, which is the result, which is the reaping. So that's the small part of it, right? So I want to talk about reap what you sow, reap where you sow, reap after you sow, and reap more than you sow. So the first one I want to talk about is reap what you sow. And I want to talk about tonight just sowing into this vision, sowing into 2025, sowing into the whole ILF model. What will you do this week and tomorrow to sow into this vision? And remember, I just told you, sowing means, again, like that whole action. What action will you take this week to get that harvest later, which is the result, which is the reaping? So again, you reap what you sow, which means if you reap positive things if you're sowing positive things this week, my prayer is that you also reap that right back in terms of you getting started. So every time I end this room, usually I pray that God not only gives you the mind of Christ, but an able body to be able to do what he's already put in your heart. It didn't take me to bump it into you guys the day to say, well, you know what? That's pretty cool. Let's do that. God has always told y'all to help people. He's always told you to create something that would create generational wealth that would also build the kingdom. This thing has got it all wrapped up into one. So guys, you reap what you sow. So I'm encouraging you guys to sow into your business this week. One way is just by tuning into us Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday every week for free. The next way is asking your questions in the chat, or you're typing them in during the week like a lot of y'all do. And the third way is taking action to actually get the coaching. Because with God first, Forster Consultants next, and you putting your hands to the plow to make this thing work, this is almost a fail-safe zone. It's hard to fail in this, guys, when you're doing God's will. You got the right coaching and the proper permission from the man above who told you to get into it. Point number 2, you reap where you sow. That means, guys, you can't spend your time sowing in some other place and then you want this thing to grow. So you reap where you sow. So that means, to me, just spending time intentionally being involved in this ILF thing. And I'm going to call it building those small stepping stones, because that don't mean tomorrow go and get a house. That means tonight at least watch the dadgum webinar. I give you guys a free webinar. I'm actually going to put that back on screen, actually, right? That webinar, again, guys, gives you guys the introductory to what the ILF is. Tonight, I just talked to y'all like family. We bounced all around. I gave y'all some tips, clues, showed you some pictures. But the ILF, if you follow the prompt that's scrolling below, you just text the phrase more info, MOREINFO, to the phone number, not below, not to me on Facebook, but text at the 407-326-0086. So in other words, guys, you can't sow all your time on Instagram and Facebook just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, but then be praying for God for this housing program that you really never put your hands to the plow to make it work. So again, you reap where you sow. Point number 3, you always reap after you sow. Some of us want this thing to happen so fast, you think that you can reap and sow at the same time. The devil is a liar. I wish it worked that way. Meaning that when you met me on Monday and you saw this vision, guys, you won't be started by next Friday. So again, you cannot reap and sow at the same time. And the delay between the sowing and the reaping, guys, is built into it. None of us can plant an apple seed today and get an apple tree tomorrow. So again, you always reap after you sow. And Katara, I pick on her all the time. She's the person that I always talk about. Steady wins the race. Last week, I talked to y'all about Noah's in the ark. The cheetah and the deer made the ark, and they're two of the fastest animals in the whole wildlife, right? But guess who also made the ark? The slug and the snail. So that whole sermon right there on that day was this: don't miss the boat. And no matter how long it take you or how fast or how slow you are, just get on the boat. Because again, the cheetah and the slug were on the same boat. So again, some of us get caught up in that between the sowing and the reaping. That's why we got to stay diligent. We got to stay faithful. And I hate to tell you, but y'all, you're going to face some rough times. It ain't going to always be smooth sailing. That's coming from your coach. I would be a liar if I told you every day going to be beautiful and rainbows. I think somewhere in the good book it say, Tia, that even the righteous, we face affliction, right? Give me the scripture. Somewhere it says that no matter how great you are, we're all going to go through stuff. It happens to the just and the unjust. Now, I'm good at paraphrasing stuff, but where it's found at and exactly what it say, I don't know that. But Tiffany, Teal, some of my good people in here, Neonta, y'all help me out if y'all know the scripture. But that's probably my favorite, even though the next one's really great. You reap after you sow. Now, as a coach, I got to preach that all the time. Because some of y'all think that y'all going to be like the lady that I taught, and she had a house in 9 days. I tell her story a lot, but I tell Katara's story way more than that. Katara was around us for over 2.5 years, y'all, before she got her first house, and congratulated a lot of people before she got her own. Point number 4, you always reap more than you sow. Lord have mercy. Now, that's the one y'all all should be clapping on. Because through all that rough stuff I just said, in the whole agricultural terms of what we're talking about, because in the biblical days, that's kind of where they came from, that whole agricultural side of it. Guys, we all know that if we plant one orange seed, it produces a tree of many oranges. So the genius part about how God makes all of this work, you not only reap what you sow, you reap where you sow, you always reap after you sow, but you always reap more than you sow. Isn't that pretty cool? One seed produces an entire tree. That means that if you get the revelation of what this is tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you should be able to change the trajectory of your family and also the city in which you serve. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Derek Forston. I approve this entire message. I love you guys like a fat kid love cake. And I hope y'all learn something tonight that can either change your life or at least open your eyes to something that, man, I never thought of that. Wow, I never heard it like that. So again, you reap what you sow. Sow into your business this week. You reap where you sow. Guys, you can't sow outside of this ILF and expect the ILF to grow. Focus your attention on where it needs to be. You reap after you sow. That means steady wins the race. You can't reap and sow at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. So some of us need to pray for patience. And guys, I'm like that too, because I'm a Scorpio. I want things now. Now. Fast. But there's a lot of things that I've been taking through in my life, especially here recently. I think that's a bit, Derek, you know what? I'm going to teach you patience in this season. To lean on me. God meaning, right? So don't raise your hand. Don't put a number in the chat, but in your own private house, in your heart, say to yourself, don't put nothing in the chat, but how many of you all can work on your patience when it comes to getting this thing started, this business, this idea? So pray for patience tonight. And then that last point was you reap more than you sow. And that's just God's multiplication on how we're doing things, right? I have nothing to do with that. God just fixed it like that. Even from the seed, because you can go and get a seed right now and drop it in some good soil. It's going to produce a tree of oranges. And one of my mentors said, you take that same seed and put it on a concrete floor, and it just sits there and does nothing because it's in the wrong environment, right? Dr. Miles Monroe talks a lot about that with that seed. You can take a seed and put it in good soil, y'all. And guess what good soil is today in terms of what we're talking about? Around Forster Consultants, keeping God first, watching all of our lives every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, praying to God and telling him you want to be in it, like voice it and say it out loud. My mom told me something a few weeks ago. She said, Derek, I know you guys pray. And I know sometimes when times get tough, I know you pray, but you pray a lot in your head, don't you? I said, yeah, I do. Like, I'm a prayer warrior in my head. Sometimes out loud, it's not the greatest of prayers, but in my head, Katara, I'll pray any of y'all. That's that silent prayer that nobody can hear. But mom gave some good advice, and that's why she's our spiritual advisor. Derek, you got to get it out your mouth. God, you are worthy. God, you are great. God, you're going to make this work for me, even though it look crazy right now. And God, I'm speaking with my mouth verbally out loud to you. God, I need your help. I want to start this housing program, God, to help your people and save my community. And God, I want you to be proud of me and my community. And God, I want to make enough money to feed my family. Like, verbalize it like that. So I think that's it for me, guys. I'm going to end it just like that. Don't forget to text the phrase more info to get our introductory webinar. Don't forget to text the phrase scholarship if you wish to get our one-on-one coaching, because as you can see, my prayer is that I hope that y'all feel and see the love of God in us, because God is all over this thing, right? And again, how great is it that you can get a job or a business that the blessing of God is already built into it? And that's what these ILFs are. So ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Derek Forster. I approve this message. Let us pray. Father God, thank you so much for the seed that was sown tonight. And thank you for the ability to give again what you gave me, God. God, you gave me this. And God, you allowed me to come here and give it to these people. God, by your Holy Spirit, bring all of this information back to their remembrance. God, I thank you for every new person that came. I thank you for all the older people that keep coming and getting enriched by this information. And as I always pray, God, give these people the mind of Christ and an able body to do what you've already put on their heart, which is to house the homeless, the displaced, the needy. And God, allow us to do that through real estate. And Father, if you will, release every resource right now. Release every piece of real estate right now. And God, release every social worker, case manager, and relationship that you want us to have to make this ministry / business work. Father God, we give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise right now, even before they get the keys to their first facility. Before anybody walks through the threshold of that door, God, we don't even know the address of the house yet, but we're thanking you for it now. Father God, even me, I want another house soon. So God, I'm calling it and I claim it because it's already people out there that need a place to live. God, can you merge us together? And we'll be ever so careful to give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. If you guys believe that, type in the chat, amen. I love y'all again like a fat kid love cake. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6. If I'm wrong about that and something's on my schedule that I don't know about, maybe we'll play a replay, but I'm pretty consistent every Monday and Saturday for sure. I slip on Tuesday sometime, but guys, I'm busy too, right? Because I also operate these. But nevertheless, man, I love y'all. Y'all be great. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget, in the new year, we're going to 7 p.m. to give a lot of more people time to get home, right? I think that's a more comfortable time when we've already talked about it. So in the new year, I think Tia told us that January 6th is the first Monday, right? I think, and if I'm wrong, Tia, tell me. But that's when we'll go to 7 p.m., guys, in the new year, starting every Monday, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and every Saturday, we're thinking about going to 11 a.m. Eastern. So we'll keep you guys abreast of that as well. Y'all be good. Love God, love people, and get into real estate. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey, what's going on, family? Just to let you know really quick, everything that you're listening to right now, I actually have it in a more structured way in a webinar. So when you guys get done here, go to forsterconsultants.com. Click the tab that says webinars, and there's 2 webinars there. One is for you to be the actual ILF operator, meaning that you want to do it. And then the other one is the HRA. That stands for Housing Referral Agency, where you're able to take people from homeless to hopeful, and you actually don't need the real estate. It stands for a Housing Referral Agency, and we call it a business in a box. but definitely go to forsterconsultants.com, watch both of those webinars, then set up a free strategy call with me and my team, and let's see how we can get you started. Back to the show. Hey, what's going on, family? Have you ever imagined starting your own housing program? That's probably why you're here. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, like you're kind of getting right now, but in a more of a one-on-one setting, just you and I, that's our ILF Mastery Blueprint. There's a number that they're scrolling below on this screen right now. If you text the word scholarship to that phone number, my team is going to get you some information. So first of all, I'm going to say congratulations and thank you for moving at the speed of instruction. We look forward to working with you. And again, this is only for people that desire our one-on-one coaching, which is designed to watch you succeed from going from a zero to a hero when it comes to information and knowing how to implement this independent living facility model without any mistakes. That's most important. So again, our ILF Mastery Blueprint, guys, there's a scholarship that's available for it that'll slice the price in half, which is also a no-brainer. So again, if you've ever desired to start your own housing program, but you thought you needed a license, you don't. You thought you had to be a nurse, you don't. You thought you had to own the property, you don't. Consider our ILF Mastery Blueprint, where we are going to take you to success and let God use you in your community, housing the homeless and the displaced. Let's get back to the show. Hey, David, did you know that you can start your own housing program and it doesn't require you for you to own the property and you do not need a license? So how in the world would you do that? I was always told that you had to own the property and that there was always some kind of special license that you had to get from your city to do this. People always told me that there was lots of red tape to jump through. So you mean to tell me these are also not group homes? It's actually simple. They're called independent living facilities, and Forster Consultants actually created it. They hold the trademark for it. So I follow them religiously on Instagram at Forster Consultants as well as Facebook. And every Monday night at 6 p.m., they actually go live on YouTube at Forster Consultants, and I follow them there as well. So you mean to tell me my dream of becoming this housing provider that I've always dreamt of is closer than I realize? And again, you're telling me I don't need a license and I don't have to own the property. Absolutely. You do not have to own the property. You don't have to be a nurse. You don't have to be a CNA, and you can get started as soon as tomorrow. Click the link below for more information.
Have you ever wanted to open your own group home? Were you told that you needed a license from the state? Were you told that you had to hire staff? You were probably told that you had to own the property, right? Let Forsting Consultants introduce you to Independent Living Facilities, ILF, which are group homes that do not require a license, staff, and you don't have to own the property. At Forsting Consultants, we walk you through the entire process of how to operate your own independent living facility. We don't just give you a bunch of videos to watch on your own, which could get confusing. Here is what you need to do next, in this order. Step number 1, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Forsting Consultants for tons of secrets on how to start your own independent living facility. Step 2, sign up for our webinar at forstingconsultants.com to learn more about this great opportunity. Step number 3, purchase our best-selling book, How to Open an Independent Living Facility in 10 Easy Steps. Step number 4, contact us for your free consultation so you can quit your boring job in the next 90 days.